Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. Today with us is Manish Prasad. He's part of the founding team at Powerplay. Powerplay is a platform that simplifies your construction management. So it's an app for simplifying work material, labor management, office and site team in one place, and yeah, it just simplifies construction projects. So, Manish, I'm glad to have you on. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Charles. So this is Manish, and we are building a SaaS product for construction sector related people. Right now, it is mainly India focused. So it's this SaaS product is catering to Indian customers, and the customer profile is right now mid segment and small kind of a business. Right now, we are not targeting any enterprise kind of customers, and in India, this the whole audience that who are working on the construction sector, they are not very tech savvy. So it's a very challenging and very interesting problem to solve for them. So how do we penetrate tech in the construction domain? So that was the challenge we had. That was the problem statement we had, and that's where we started. And now this journey has been more than 5 years, and we have faced many ups and downs, but so far going good. And let's see where what heights we can reach. Yeah.
Yeah, I have Construct Tech as clients as well, and like you said, I think it's pretty challenging to reach out these folks, right? That I do cold email, and yeah, so far it's pretty challenging. I would say a lot of these folks they do take
Yes.
phone calls. The smaller you go, the more challenging it is. So, how do you go with go to market? How do you actually target them and have them take action? Okay, download your app and try it.
Yeah. Okay. So uh, essentially, it has been mostly directly calling them. We generally try to get in touch with the founders, or let's say the decision makers of the company, and instead of like pitching the whole software to them, what we try to pitch to them is like, what are the small problem statement and what kind of value they will realize if let's say their site person team and let's say the office person team, uh, they collaborate with each other. So essentially in a construction sector, what is happening is uh, the actual execution is happening at the site, and the information that gets needs to be basically compiled, and let's say based on those information, any decision that needs to be taken, that is done by the office people. So now the most challenging part here is how do the office people get the right information and all kind of information and on time. So this is where we come into picture. So we essentially make this information generation from the site very seamless, because our USP has been the mobile app. So instead of when we talk to the let's say the decision makers or the owners of the company, we don't try to pitch them all kind of features. We just try to find out what is the main problem statement they are facing, and how they will get the value out of our app, or basically our whole product shoot, if they buy us. As an example, let's say if the customer, their main challenge is, let's say, about delay that is they are facing in the project execution. So how quickly they can realize like what is the amount of delay that is happening, which are the tasks, or let's say which are the kind of activities which is actually creating or which will eventually create delay in their execution. So through our app, basically we can direct them like these are the tasks or these are the execution path which potentially is going to get delayed, because of which your cost overrun will, let's say your basically your project cost can overrun, or let's say you might get penalized because you have certain commitments to your own clients, and if they don't get in time, then obviously it's not a good experience for them. So now that business owner, or let's say the decision maker, he realizes that okay, delay tracking is my main value, and if I use this product shoot, I will get it in time. Then I should try out this app, even if let's say my whole site team is not that tech savvy, or let's say they are not uh, like very much using getting used to using any tech products in the site while they are executing their work. So that's how we pitch them. Then they essentially come sometimes in pilot mode. In what happens in pilot mode is like they try our software for 1 month. During that time, we help their side person or the persons who actually have to generate the information with training. So our customer support team is constantly in touch with them. We train them so that they get used to this new model of working. Like earlier they just used to execute their task, and then the project manager, or you say project supervisor, they used to call those people who actually executed those tasks, get all the information, compile all the information, then send it to a decision maker. But with our app, it is the site person's job now to basically enter the information, and which makes the job of the project supervisor or project manager to compile all the information far more easily. And once the business owner sees that, okay, my team has been able to adopt the product and actually I'm getting the same value which I was promised during the sales pitch, or let's say pre-sales pitch, and that's why they subscribe. So yeah, that's how it goes.
Right. And what is prompting them to use technology, especially in India? I mean, some of them might be operating like with pen and paper, some of them with Google Sheets or Excel. What is prompting them to step to another level?
Okay. Uh, from my experience, I would say there are two primary reasons. One is, uh, let's say they are pretty much used to using, let's say, pen and paper, even let's say WhatsApp, or let's call even Google Sheet. The problem with this approach is that while for very small duration of time, let's say for today's progress, any WhatsApp communication, or let's say any Excel sheet update, that will work. But let's say if I have to see after a 1 week, and I have to, let's say, trace down any running issue or what was the information given to me on a particular task. So because things are not available in a very structured manner in, let's say, WhatsApp or a Google sheet or in pen and paper, then uh, it becomes a challenge as a, let's say, project manager, or even let's say as a decision maker, to make meaningful information out of it. When the things are far more structured in nature, it becomes far more easier for us to figure out what actually the problem was, or let's say even what the last conversation was on any particular issue. So from non-structured information to, let's say, getting into a very far more structured kind of information, and let's say even whole project planning and tracking. So that really helps or streamline the execution part. So this is reason number one. And reason number two is, with the advancement of technology, especially with respect to mobile. So in India, the cost of broadband, even 4G, now even 5G has penetrated a lot. And this accessibility to even persons who actually execute at the site, and being the cost of such broadband is very cheap, right? So everybody who, even if it's a mason, let's say, or even if it's, let's say, a carpenter, or it's a plumber, they have a smartphone handy with them. And even the broadband connections at the site is also very good. So the information generation and live at the moment you I generated the information, the same information is available to the people who is, let's say, sitting in the office. It has become seamless. So because of these two primary reasons, I think people are very much open to adopt, and they were actually waiting for somebody to come up with such kind of a solution. And there are certain solutions available, but they used to cater to mostly enterprise kind of companies. While the mid segment, let's say, whose turnover is up to, let's say, 1,000 CR rupees, something like that. So they don't used to get leverage of such kind of softwares, because the training period of such premier or enterprise softwares were itself more than 6 months, while their project execution actually used to complete within 3 months. So they cannot, apart from the cost angle, they even cannot leverage those kind of softwares, because the training period, and also in this industry the attrition rate is very high. So by the time you train somebody, he might be switching, or maybe the project is still getting over. So this is where, like, any new software which is not catering to enterprise but rather catering to their segment, and when they come to know, they are pretty much open. And when we initially started, like we none of the founders had any idea about how the construction industry works. And
Interesting.
and when certain people yeah, so when they came to know that, okay, somebody is trying to build it, so they were very supportive. So they understood, okay, if I try your product, there might be so many issues, but we'll help you how the feature, or let's say end to end workflow should look like, and because it was a very good collaboration, so that's where this whole journey, like more than 5 years journey, so we have been able to manage. And whatever shape we are, like it's basically collaboration with all the customers we had.
Got it. And what main challenges have you faced building that company in the last couple of years?
Okay, so so essentially, like one of the main challenge has been with this adoption part only. So uh, in adoption, what happens is, so there is a team which sits in the office, and there is a team which actually does their executes the job in the site. Now the site person actually is working in a very firefighting mode, always in the site. Now on top of that, let's say somebody is pressing from the office team that now you have to use a software and feed in all the information, one by one from the mobile. So there is a very resistance from their side, like now I have to even do this. Earlier you used to call me, I used to verbally tell to the project manager or the supervisor. They used to compile all the information, and I didn't even worry much about how the information is getting passed to the, so apart from actually getting the task executed on the site, you are also telling me how to fit in this data in a software, and I am not very much comfortable with. So that is the main, you can say, the challenge that we have faced, especially with respect to the adoption part. So yeah, I think that is, yeah, that's the main problem we are facing.
And what are your growth plans for this year? What do you want to achieve?
Okay, so this year our plan is to move from a mid-segment customer to even bigger customers. Basically, their ticket size will be high, and basically catering to their functionalities or the demands. And what it essentially translates into functionality is it. So apart from, let's say, one workflow, or let's say one suite, for example, like let's say not just project tracking. Let's say they can also do project planning here. They can also track their finances here. They can also do some sort of accounting and all. So when other day-to-day job that are mid-size, or let's say even a bigger companies who is aspiring to, let's say, move from a mid segment to, let's say, an enterprise, or become far bigger. So many different kind of softwares they are using. What they say is ki, what they say is, your software is very good at getting the information, the execution details that is actually happening at the site, or let's say execution site. Why not you club this with other workflows, like how is my finances going? Let's say, why not I am able to, let's say, generate purchase orders? Why I should not be able to, let's say, plan my budget? Why should I not be able to manage my cost in your software? So build this kind of a suit end to end, and this will then enable us to use your software and stick to your software far more, and it will also help us to basically increase our ticket size. And once we increase our ticket size, obviously our profitability will also increase. So in terms of, let's say, next 6 months plan, these are the only two things we are focusing on. Focus more on a mid segment, and also build functionalities which cater to these kind of segments.
Right. And what is your role in the company? You're in charge of the back end, but what does a day to day in your life look like?
Okay, so instead of saying like day to day, I would say like in a week. Again, we are maybe 5 years old company, but we are still the inherent nature is still a startup. So I have to essentially wear multiple hats. So right from, let's say, any feature request that has come, uh, so there are a lot many customers are there who have actually paid for us, and they want certain enhancement in certain features or certain parts which are missing. Then there are new sales talks going on, and they are saying, look, no, this XYZ is missing in our product, so that's the reason I will not buy it. Once you, let's say, finish this XYZ feature, you do it. And so many other kind of requests come. So one set of hat that we have to wear is, from that, figure out what is the minimum essential that, let's say, we can build and ship it to production in, let's say, in the next 1 month. So from a lot many requests, we have to essentially first prioritize or figure out what are the problem statement that we should attack. Then comes the scoping part, like, no, now we have identified certain problem statement, but in any given problem statement, you can, go on at any kind of depth. So then we have to also, take a very judicious decision, like, till how much depth and till how much breadth we should build that problem. From there, then the journey becomes of solutioning, and then with collaboration with our designers, with product managers and all, then we design the whole workflow. And once that is done, then the job becomes to breaking down into the smaller technical tasks, like how the front end team, how the mobile app development team, how the back end team, they break those things into smaller tech level tasks, and from there, how do we ship it to production. So during the course of the week, like, we have to wear so many different hats, and that's how it goes.
Right. And have you been shipping AI features this year inside of Powerplay?
uh Not exactly. We have tried a very small feature set with a very small cohort of customers. That is essentially around a conversation based workflow, but that's a very small experiment. With respect to, yes, AI, what we are essentially right now doing is, we are actually incorporating the whole process of this execution that I explained in the earlier part, like when I am wearing so many different hats. So inside our own company's workflow right now, we're integrating the whole AI, like, even for, let's say, any problem statement is there, and let's say I have to come up with a design. Why not, let's build a small prototype and actually go to the customer with that prototype and saying, like, no, this is your problem statement, was this is the kind of solution I am thinking, and this is a very small working prototype is there. And based on their feedback, we refine it, and once they say, okay, if this comes up in this shape, we'll be very happy to basically leverage your software. And then essentially, like, now we, instead of having Figma designs and all, right now we, the starting point for us now becomes small prototype itself, which is essentially a code. So let's say if I'm writing in React, it is available in the React itself, and from there we'll finish it, we'll polish it, so that it is a production ready kind of a code and software. So that is how we are leveraging it. uh, right now, as such, as, let's say, for the end customer, any AI enabled features are there, like for the next 3 months, I don't think so we have much in the pipeline right now.
Right. Well, thanks for coming on today. Where can people find out more about you, Manish?
So I'm there on LinkedIn, and I'm there on Instagram. I'm there on X also, but it's a very new account, so I think it's very difficult to find me out. Like, very less number of followers are there, but mainly on LinkedIn I'm there. Instagram I'm there.
Perfect.